2:18 in the morning, Eastern time, on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. I am Bill Worster, aka Zazubar, from New York. This is the Demons from Outer Space, a podcast that we have been doing for quite some time. That I have been doing with my good friend Dylan McCandless, aka Super DM64. Say hi to the good people, Dylan.
Hi to the good people, Dylan. Only 118 here
Thank you,
in the
you
landlocked.
sarcastic son of a bitch. I try to be uplifting and positive at the beginning of this thing for once, and you're just like, fuck you.
Anyway, as I was saying, only 118 in the AM here in the beautiful landlocked states of America.
What is your time zone called?
I think it's called, it's not, is it Central?
Yeah, I guess. There's like, what, 3 time zones in the U.S.? Eastern, Central, Pacific?
4. There's also a mountain time that's like in between mine and California.
Really? Ooh, that sounds dicey. We don't know anything about this.
That's why 2 hours behind me instead of just 1 hour behind me. If there were only 3 time zones, then they would only be 1 hour behind me.
Well, we don't claim to know anything about science. But, Dylan, this week we're going to do an episode entirely devoted to science. So,
Woo.
You and I both have some articles, or you have one article, I have, like, a fucking slew that we're going to have to slog through. Or I'm going to pick out the ones that are probably going to give us some mileage. And we're gonna talk science. So thank God that we're experts in it. So why don't we start off with yours? So you have something that's more of a social science, you said?
Yeah, it's not really a hard science type thing, but I thought it was interesting. In the tradition of being January and looking back at last year and being like, what the fuck? IFL Science has the article titled, Pornhub reveals what porn the world was watching in 2016.
I read this.
It's basically Pornhub apparently every year releases a report in which they break down like what people searched, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I didn't know that they I mean, we're sort of, I guess, blissful. I mean, you know that everything that you put into the computer is tracked. It's just a matter of whether or not you care. And you and I are a couple of guys that don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck what the government thinks we're looking at.
So we'll go down the list here of the most searched things people searched in Pornhub, shall we? I've seen worse lists than this, though. If you ever go look at, like, what porn people search the most in, like, the Muslim world, it's terrible.
Oh, my God. That's so specific. Did you Google that, or did you just find that article? Why didn't you bring that article? That would have... Dude, find that article. Like, when we're going through all the other ones that I have, I want you to find that one, but we'll do this one first.
I don't have that as an article. I saw that in a video once, but anyway.
Find that video, and then we'll do that list. Like, I want to know what that is.
But anyway, most searched for terms in Pornhub in 2016. You ready? Mm-hmm. Should I start at the top of the list at the most searched thing, or start at the bottom?
I mean, how many are there? Like, don't do the whole thing if it's a lot. Like, do like the 10 or 5, whatever. I mean, do 10. I mean, we're not going to probably have much to say about each one. I mean, maybe we will. Just do 10. So start at the bottom, though. Yeah.
Okay, so the least... Well, I don't know if it's the
least...
That's how
every sexual encounter starts anyway, so...
Okay, so not the least searched thing on Pornhub, but the lowest ranking one on this list is gangbang, which... Okay, I can see that.
That's not a popular... That's not something that everybody is into. That is a niche thing. I would certainly think that makes sense. You know, D, I think that this list is more influential, or at the very least, I think it's more impactful for me than the Oscars. Like, I think that us breaking this down is like, ooh, that's crazy that's there. Like, I'm really that really impacts me emotionally. But I feel like gangbang at number 10 is one of the ones that makes the most sense. So I think that's an accurate thing there. So I mean, D, I hope you don't mind. What's your personal opinion on the gangbang porn genre?
I would be willing to bet that statistically there are probably more people searching gangbang than are actually into it. I think there are a lot of people who maybe are searching gangbang because they're curious. Like, What does that look like? Maybe they're searching gangbang because they like to watch it, but they would never do it in real life, you know?
And maybe they're not even like, oh, this gets me off. They're like, wow, that's fucked up. I think that's more often maybe the kind of... I think you're right. I think that's the foundation maybe of that of its place there, more so than some of the other ones at the top, which I think are there for different reasons.
You'll notice that the list, there's a common theme here. Everything is either really, really vague or really specific.
Yeah.
And I don't know which is worse.
All right, so you didn't answer my question though. Interestingly, so if you don't mind me asking, what's your personal take on the gangbang porn genre?
It depends.
Depends.
It depends on environment,
on the night,
number of participants. Also depends on. I hate any porn that like inserts like some terrible like soft music over the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh God, that's horrible. That's no good. Most of them do it too. Most of them do it.
And don't try to give me a story at the beginning. All right. I'm not going to last through the whole video if you do that.
I like that. I need to know context. Otherwise, I get scared. It's scary for me. I feel disoriented.
Bill needs an emotional connection.
I do. I'm an emotional. As I said in my audio drama that I released a couple this week, Lost Genesis. I think from the heart more than the head, kids. You should go listen to that, by the way. A little plug there for you. Anyway, sorry, I kind of took us off track there. What's the next one? Number 9.
Oh, it's not 9. It's however many are on this list.
I thought we were going to keep it. Anyway, go ahead. Just whatever.
It's not too many, and I don't think we're going to have a whole lot to say on a lot of them. So I'll just do the whole list. It's not that long.
Gotcha.
So the next most searched thing above gangbang is, again, pretty vague, but it's squirt.
Yeah, again, I think that's another one that's like, it's there because people are like, oh, I want to see what that looks like because I've never seen it in person. Oh, that's fucked up. But they don't really like, they're not looking it up because they're like, oh, that's the thing that I really look for to get off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those words too. It's one of those English language words that's just kind of disturbing, you know. Squirt.
Well, but it's a thing that happens, you know, like it's a real thing. So you want to see what that looks like because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that a woman does that, and a man can do that.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like the word moist. Just I don't know, it hits you in a weird way.
It's not something that you're encountered with in your daily life. I feel.
Well, it depends on whose daily life you have.
Not yours, apparently.
Next on the list after squirt, incredibly vague, hilarious for how vague it is. Black.
Yeah, that is a word though. That's like, even when it's not there to represent any kind of racial significance, they'll still throw it in. It'll be there to describe, like, the channel that the porn is on, or the color of the fucking lighting, or anything else. The color of the lingerie, the color of the girl's hair. Black just is inherently associated with porn and erotica. So, but I also feel like, again, maybe there is a bit of, like, oh, I'm a white guy, and I want to see what black chicks look like when they get fucked. So, maybe there is a bit of that as well.
Perhaps. Next on the list, Asian.
By the way, we're going to sound real misogynistic when we talk about this, and we're not actually misogynistic men. We're good-hearted American dudes. We're just going around, going to McDonald's and ordering our food, and we leave. We don't cause any problems, so we don't want you to think of us in any kind of negative way after our talking about this. So, just want to get that out there.
I'm pretty misogynistic. Anyway, Asian is the next thing on the list.
Now, that one is definitely... This gets me off.
This entire category is probably Dave.
Yeah, definitely. Just
all the time.
Constantly searching up the most current shit. Everything. He's got to be well versed in every single piece of pornography that has an Asian woman in it, because he has to know everything that an Asian woman could possibly do sexually on film. I mean, who doesn't?
And the next one on the list, this word doesn't sound as bad as squirt, but if you know what it is, it's actually a little bit weirder to think about. Cream pie.
Oh boy. Yeah, if you didn't know what that is, you'd be like, what? I mean, you know what that is, right?
I mean, yeah, if you don't know what that is, you might think you're in for some hostess or something. But,
In a way.
no.
Again, this is not something that I'm particularly partial to. It's one of those things that's like, if I want to see what that looks like, there you go. But it's not something that's like, yeah. But again, I feel like that's one of the entries on here that's a mix of, some people are like, feel that way about it, where they're like, oh, I want to see that because it's fucked up. Other people are like, oh yeah, that gets me off, that weird shit.
Yeah. I feel like some people might be watching it for the same reason that they enjoy like pimple popping videos, and others are like actually into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that doesn't appeal to me about the cream pie genre is, it involves something that happens, after the fucking is already over, and at that point, like, why do I care?
Well, some people find that to be the thing that helps them do their business, to get to take care of their end of it.
I guess.
But
I just tend to lose interest by that point.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to cover all the bases here, is all I'm saying. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you, and I think that that's why it's a mix of both, because some people just want to see what that looks like because they're curious, because it's not something that they think they'll ever encounter in their real life, so they look it up themselves online. But what's the next one?
The next one falls on the specific side of the spectrum. Lesbians scissoring.
That again, I think that's a mix. I think that's a mix of people who don't think they'll ever see that, aka every man ever, and people who get off to that. And I think that's an interesting mix of lesbians and dudes who like lesbian porn. And I think that every dude will agree lesbian porn's pretty great.
I don't even think scissoring really happens that much in nature either. I think it's a thing that like people think happens in nature, and so they put it in the porn because people want to see it.
But I think that it's a thing that works, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. I guess. I've heard stories that suggest that.
All of the scissoring I've seen was in South Park, so.
You've seen the best. You've seen the best scissoring then.
There's a hilarious episode after Mr. Garrison gets his sex change where he decides that he's a lesbian now, and he scissors with fucking Xerxes, because Xerxes is a woman in this episode, and he's like, fucking scissor me timbers, and it's great.
Fascinating.
Next on the list, threesome. That's a pretty standard one. I think everybody's looked at that at some point or another,
Again, I think that's another one that's like, it's a mix of, I want to see what that looks like, because I'll never see that in my life. But I think that there's more of a chance that you might see that in your life. A threesome is more of a common, like, let's do something daring tonight and have a three-way. And it's like with some random young person you've never met before.
The real question I have about that category, and obviously they don't break it down this far, is the ratios on these threesomes that people are watching. You know what I mean?
The racial ratios?
Not racial. Well, it could be a racial ratio.
I think that's certainly a distinction.
There's also the other important thing to keep in mind when you're talking about threesomes is the ratio of dicks to pussies.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm more about like, let's have all pussies. Like that's all I need.
That's the thing. You can have three peas.
I don't really need the three P. Well, wait, they're both peas. So how are you going to distinguish that?
I was going to say you can have the three P's. You can have a P and two D's. You can have two D's and a P.
Oh,
no,
right.
wait, a D and two P's, or you know what I mean? Fuck it.
The possibilities are endless.
Now, the next one is kind of a cop-out, I feel, because we already covered it with black. It's ebony, which means the same thing as black. We've already talked about that.
But that's more specifically the racial thing.
I find it interesting
black
that people search. I find it interesting that people search ebony more than they do black, though. Like, apparently, I'm not giving the American people credit for how literate they actually are. So,
yeah.
Good for them.
Well, I think maybe it's also black people who know that, and they're like, well, that's what I'm looking for, so I'm going to look for the better quality shit. And also, just anybody who finds black women attractive, I find some black women attractive. So, if I was in the proper mood, I would definitely maybe put an ebony word in there in my keyword search.
Next one, definitely one that you're going to have a mix. Some people are going to be into it, some people aren't. Anal.
Nah, not my thing. Not into it. But again, I think that's the same mix there. I mean, I think they're all a mix of what we've been saying. But yeah, then that's one that I think is a foundation, a center, a tent pole of the porn genre.
Yeah. It's like half of the porn out there is people getting fucked in the pussy, and the other half is anal.
I feel like oral is more popular than both.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, usually it's tacked on at the beginning, though.
Everybody likes oral sex, though, D. There's no commitment with oral sex.
Usually it's there at the beginning before the real shit happens. You know?
Yeah, but sometimes you don't even need the real shit. Like, who cares? Like, it's done. Go about your day.
It's not noisy enough, though. I need the noise.
Oh, I don't need the noise. The noise disturbs me.
That's why I don't like when they put the music over it.
Anyway, I don't like it when they talk. I don't like it when they do anything. No.
Oh, when they talk is terrible.
No,
like when the dude's like, yeah, fucking, I'm like, shut up.
Well, it's good that now I know what Dylan sounds like in bed. Not that I didn't already know.
or like when the chick starts talking, you know, it's like, to quote Louis C.K., stop being a faggot and suck that dick. Anyway, moving on.
See, again, I need the emotional resonance. I need the context. Otherwise, I can't get into it.
Moving on. I don't understand the next one, Bill.
All right.
I don't know what it means. I don't know if this is a sex thing that I'm not aware of, but I think it's a video game. Overwatch? Isn't that a video game?
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a video game. So it means that they're looking up like characters from that game that they want to jerk off to. I mean that makes sense. Every year there is a franchise that like becomes popular as like it has characters from it that are sexualized because there's like a hot girl in it or a series of hot girls, and then there's like lesbian art and shit.
But there's all kinds of Rule 34 out there. I wonder why this specifically is the thing that made it on the Pornhub most searched of the year list.
Because it's a game, and you can like make like a machinima that is like a porn.
Next, Japanese.
Even above Asian. I feel like Japan. Do you think Japan is the most popular Asian country in America?
I don't know if they're looking for Japanese people or if they're looking for the kind of porn produced in Japan, which we all know gets kind of crazy.
Wouldn't that be both?
Probably. You can have Japanese people in American porn, Bill. Don't be racist.
No, but if... No. Okay, fine. But if they type in Japanese, they could be looking for just, porn with Japanese girls or porn made in Japan. But either way, it will have Japanese girls in it. That was my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't fucking be like, Bill's racist. Fuck you. Yeah.
Or Japanese dudes. Don't make assumptions about their preferences.
I'm not looking at Japanese dudes. Dude, I can't. Listen, Japanese dudes, I'm sure you're fine. I like a lot of you in movies, but sexually, nah.
I don't need to see her.
Listen, there are dudes that I can look at in porn and go like, that's acceptable. I can look at that interacting with a hot girl and it makes sense. But a lot of dudes from Japan that I see in porn, no.
What's hilarious?
I last 5 seconds and I'm like, looking up lesbian.
What's hilarious is you have what's hilarious is when you have an ugly dude who does porn, because then it's just hilarious that he's there.
Sometimes it's part of it and it's kind of cool and it's kind of fun, but then other times it's just really sad and creepy.
Well, look at fucking Ron Jeremy. There's a guy you would never imagine.
Sad and creepy.
There's a guy you would never imagine fucking hot chicks.
Because he's got one thing going for him.
One thing.
Well, I mean, it's a really big thing, but it's only one.
Moving on. Now this next one. I get it. I get why people are into it. Doesn't do anything for me. Surprise is still high on the list. Massage.
Oh, sure. I get that. I can get into that. Like the happy ending kind of shit. Well, because that's a real thing that people think that they can pay to do, so it's more of a relatable kind of fantasy. But it is still a fantasy because if you go into a real happy ending massage parlor, it's going to be from a toothless, hairless woman who needs it for heroin, who needs the money for heroin.
As long as it eventually gets around to that, as long as it's not just a massage the
But
entire
again,
time.
but there are dudes like me who need the context and the emotional resonance and everything, and that's a relatable context for it. So I totally get that.
Mm, mm. Moving on from that pussy shit, we have
Fuck you.
more shit that I understand, but not necessarily for me. Hentai. And you know what?
Yeah,
the next
no.
entry on the list after hentai is cartoon. I'm just going to lump those two in together. Hentai / cartoon. One being Japanese, the other being, I guess, the Flintstones fucking.
The Simpsons, you see a lot of like advertised on porn sites. It's like a lot of like, do you want to see the Simpsons fuck? And it's like, no, I do not want to see the Simpsons fuck. For the love of God, no. This is another genre that I don't really. Again, I think I get it, and I guess maybe I could get into if it was like well produced. But all cartoon porn is like really awfully made, like flash animation shit, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, the only time that I've ever like even halfway gotten into the idea of it is like there are games online like Flash games where it's basically hentai, but it's like interactive and shit. At that point, you feel like you're participating. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. No, I get that. That's kind of but that's like, again, I feel like that's a weird fucked up thing where it's like, oh, this is fucked up but kind of cool, and that this exists. Like, oh, yeah, I kind of feel that, but again, I feel like that's another one where it's like, it's not. It's weird that's a. I feel like what's interesting about this list is that there's weird shit that's a 10-pole, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's something that everybody's kind of looking up and it's in the public consciousness. I feel like this list is indeed very reflective of our present day.
Yeah. I can see modern America in here. Bill, we're at the top 6 now, Bill.
Oh my God, we still have that many more to go? All right, let's fly through them. Let's go.
Number 6 on this, the most family-friendly episode of The Demons from Outer Space.
I know, this is such a different show. I don't know who's listening at this point, but thank you. Thank you for sticking with us.
The Not Safe for Work podcast. You're going to notice a disturbing trend among these top 6, Bill. And you'll know what it is as soon as I tell you what number 6 is. Number 6 is
Oh, boy. So that's the... Wow. Biologically? Or is it like the kink kind of like, oh, mommy, I guess it's more that.
I guess it's probably both, but it just says mom.
Okay. Sure. All right, fine. Some people, that's a thing that, gets them going, I guess. But that's not even, but I feel like that's not even something that people would look up as like, oh, that's fucked up, I'd like to see that. No, I feel like people avoid that on principle.
Well, some people avoid that on principle, but enough people are into it that it's the 6th most searched thing.
That's the really interesting thing to me. If that was gonna be on there, I'd think that'd be lower, where like Asian was. You think Asian would be higher up on this?
Yeah, you might think so, but
that's crazy.
I'm assuming I've been assuming this whole time that these are results for like America, but it's Pornhub, so it might be more of a worldwide thing. I don't know.
It's definitely worldwide because you can't really tell anymore.
Yeah, probably. Well, if they have like separate servers, then they would be able to tell.
Well, they're not fucking paying attention. Pornhub.
Anyway,
they're growing trees and
five.
Shit.
Number 5 on the list, keeping to this familial theme, stepsister, which at least has the word step in it.
Yeah, that's a saving grace. So then at least it's not blood relation. Again, it's the same thing. It's a fantasy. That, again, though, not something that I feel like people watch and go, oh, I'm going to see that because it's fucked up, man. Isn't that nuts? Oh, my God. No. I feel like it's just, well, I'm into this fantasy.
I can see that if it's like 2 already grown-up people whose parents happen to get married and then technically siblings. But if it's like they've been step-siblings
at that
like
point, why does it even have to be that kind of porn? Like, just watch porn of 2 attractive people fucking then, though.
Yeah, but if it's 2 people that are like raised together as siblings but are technically step, then it gets a little weirder.
Yeah, that's bizarre. When it's like we used to take baths together, but now you're taking a bath in my mouth.
We used to take baths together, but now we're taking a bath together. So I don't guess things have changed really.
Not much. Oh man, yeah, no, that's not appropriate for kids.
Number 4, potentially jailbaity here.
Oh.
Teen. The number 4 most highest searched thing
Well,
is teen.
almost every porn I've ever watched has opened with advisory. All the people in this are over the age of 18, even if they're acting like they're not. And the ones that I haven't, I've usually been pretty sure of. So I think that this is more of like, oh, I'd like to see the youngest girl possible without being arrested.
Yeah. Well, by teen, they usually mean 18.
Yeah, usually.
Hopefully.
Some states it gets a little dicey.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people may have gone to jail in the making of this list, but that's what we like. We have fun.
Some people may go to jail in the making of this podcast, D.
Number 3 on the list. This one, yeah, I get it. I get it. The number 3 most popular search result on this list, made popular by the film American Pie, MILF.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is again a tent pole of the porn genre. Definitely makes sense to be up there.
Makes perfect sense. Next one, number 2. We've pretty much already covered this, but it's a separate entry. Stepmom. So it's kind of creepy, but it's got that step thing going on.
Again, I think that's a different thing. I think that's a little better because again, especially if it's like, oh, I'm like 10 years younger than your father, and you're like 25.
I feel like people are like, yeah, I really want to watch porn of like somebody fucking their mom, but I don't want to feel bad about it. So
exactly. That's the beauty of this entire genre, precisely.
I'm going to be real with you, Bill.
What?
Number 1, the result on this list is super disappointing when you consider all the crazy shit we've seen.
This was such an emotional journey.
This is really vanilla, in my opinion, and it happens to be number 1 by a long shot, but kind of disappointing in my opinion, especially after we've had Mom and
Stepmom was 2 separate categories.
All that fun stuff. Teen was certainly made for some interesting conversation, but the number 1...
some interesting legal potential.
But the number 1 most searched thing of 2016 is just good old-fashioned lesbian.
Oh, you think that's disappointing? I think that's endearing. Because I feel that lesbian is... I mean, that's my favorite genre of porn. You don't agree?
It's just kind of boring, I guess.
Boring? Why? Because it's expected?
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping that the number 1 most searched thing would turn out to be something crazy, like fucking, I don't know.
Dolphin porn.
There's no bondage on this list.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
So boring.
There was no like there was no like, oh, shoving a pickle up my ass or anything, nothing like that. There was nothing crazy. Again, that's why I want that Muslim list. So
there's not even any like foot shit, and that's supposed to be like the most popular fetish in the world. Why is everybody
there's a sneezing fetish, where people like to watch people sneezing. There's a girls trying to start cars fetish that I've heard about, where people like to watch girls trying to start cars.
There's a fetish where people like balloons popping, and they'll watch videos of girls sitting on balloons.
Yeah. See, this is all stuff that I wish was on this list, because that would be more interesting DFOS material. It's more scientific, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. From a podcasting perspective, how much more fun would it be if there were like some furries or something on this list? Like, come on.
So get on your fucking game, Pornhub. But D, I feel like this is what we need the Muslim porn list for. So why don't you go and try and find that video, and in the meantime, I'll get us going with some of these this plethora of fucking I fucking love science articles that I have.
These entries wound up just being the same thing under a different category too. So I don't know.
See, see if there's anything of note.
But that was a hell of a way to open DFOS, I thought. So.
Oh my god, yeah. Like we found things out about each other that we maybe didn't need to know. So, but anyway, further on into the advancements in the field of science, do you want to know what the biggest mistake in the history of science is, according to ifuckinglovescience.com?
What?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna read the article. Hang on, it's loading. It froze on me. God damn it. God damn it. Science is one of the most remarkable inventions of humankind. Yeah, fine. Hang on. It showed it and then it moved.
If you can really call a process an invention, I guess.
Oh boy, this is gonna make for interesting conversation. The worst error in the history of science was undoubtedly classifying humans into the different races. Now, there are some big contenders for this dubious honor. Massive blunders like the invention of nuclear weapons, fossil fuels, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. Do you know what those are? Is that like a pollutant or something?
I think I've heard of it before, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Leaded petrol and DDT, which that's a pesticide. And tenuous theories and dubious discoveries like luminiferous ether? Luminiferous ether? The expanding Earth, which is like the idea that there's another universe inside of the Earth that's expanding and there's like a whole civilization in there. Vitalism, blank slate theory, phrenology.
I think the hollow is even more ridiculous. Or going back even further, the flat Earth, which some people still choose to believe in.
Oh God! My earth science teacher told me a story about how his sister dated a guy who believed in that, and they were all having dinner one night, and of course, my teacher was a fucking earth science student, and this guy was there and going off about this shit, and he tried to keep it in, but eventually he was just like, "Listen, motherfucker."
Oh God! It's like I live in the South. Obviously, do you have any idea how often I have to bite my tongue when listening to people talking about evolution when they clearly don't understand how the fuck it even works? Ugh.
But it also says the Piltdown Man. Do you remember the Piltdown Man? That was like a frozen caveman dude or whatever, or like a Bigfoot kind of situation.
That's a pretty big blunder. Yeah, I can see that. See, some of these I don't even know if I would classify as blunders. Like the first one they listed was the whole race thing.
So no, the race thing is what they're proposing as the biggest in scientific history, the biggest mistake.
Because the thing is, yeah, the difference between the races is pretty superficial. When you look at the DNA, it's just the same difference as like two people with different hair colors. But that doesn't mean that
it's all genetic, as in like passed on from parent to son or parent to child or whatever.
But at the same point in time, you can't deny the fact that there are differences, and therefore it isn't really a blunder to classify it. It's no different than saying like all dogs are dogs, but there are different breeds of dogs.
It's just a way of saying that person has a different color skin than me.
Well, not just that either.
Or that person has a different heritage than me, or that person comes from a different country than me.
Like, there's a reason that African Americans are more likely to experience sickle cell anemia. Actually, it only is in African Americans, I think. I don't think white people ever even get it. Sickle cell anemia, which is a condition that only black people get. So, like, there are differences. They're superficial differences, but there are differences. So I don't know if saying that that's a blunder really makes sense.
Well, let's see if they defend themselves. But race theory stands out amongst all of them because it has wrecked untold misery and been used to justify barbaric acts of colonialism, slavery, and even genocide. Even today, It's still used to explain social inequality and continues to inspire the rise of the far right across the globe. To take, for example, the controversy that surrounded Nicholas Wade's 2014 book, A Troublesome Inheritance, if you doubt for a moment the resonance race still has for some people. The human races were invented by anthropologists like John Friedrich Blumenbach back in the 18th century in an attempt to categorize new groups of people being encountered and exploited as part of an ever-expanding European colonialism. And that's ultimately what race is. It's a colloquial way of referring to different groups of people.
See, I'm calling bullshit on this whole article.
No, I totally see why. Because this is kind of like political agenda shit where it's like,
yeah, they're on some SJW
fuck this shit because it's bad for social reform, and it's like I get what you're saying, and yes, what this has been used to justify is no good, but colloquially it does still make sense. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not a blunder. It's outdated, if anything. Maybe it's a bit old school.
They're on some PC bullshit right now is what they're doing. Yeah,
I agree.
Basically their argument boils down to, well, we don't like it because it's mean. And I'm like, well, I don't give a shit.
Well, hang on.
This is science.
We're not.
This is science. Damn it. This is the same argument that people use to defend fucking like religion. Like it just makes me feel better. Like I don't well, it's irrelevant when we're talking about science.
Yeah, I want to know the hard cold facts. Exactly. I'm totally with you. And this is definitely not delivering that. Hey, but I want to see if there's more to it because there's some interesting shit in here. I do like that they tell me where the races started. Like but that also makes sense that colloquially though we're used to using the terms come up with by people who were exploiting these people. So I think that some people are angry that that's colloquially how we use them. Maybe we should be using different terms. Maybe we should be speaking differently. But that's something that's only going to happen over time. Like you can't.
What the
force
fuck
that
else
on,
are you gonna call it?
You can't force that on people. I don't know what they're proposing, but I think that's the idea. But that's only going to happen over time once those terms really impact the public consciousness, and it's not something you can force. That's what makes resistance like my friend Dylan here is putting up. He's like, fuck it, I want to call them blacks and yellers and reds and purples.
Not even that. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid to say that to act like there's no to say that race theory is a mistake just because people did some bad shit. Like is to basically say like, oh, we should just act like there is no difference between the races. And sure, you should treat everyone as if there's no differences, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any.
It doesn't mean that genetically there's no difference between a black man and a white man. There are. We just talked about the sickle cell anemia thing.
Yeah, and again, it's really for the most part, the difference between the races is really superficial. Like,
yeah,
they're only about.
It makes no real difference.
They're only about as different as a brunette is from a blonde. Like, it's literally that similar. But at the same time, you can't act like there are no differences.
No.
You don't solve a problem by.
It's not realistic. It's not scientific.
Like I just said, you don't solve a problem by not addressing it. Is the thing.
Exactly.
That's I guess what I'm trying to get across here.
I totally agree, and I feel like we could wrap it up there. I just want to see what else is in here. Maybe it makes a better case for it. They're basically pointing out that the definition of racial genealogy, that the European colonialism used, that is now colloquially commonly used, is not based on genetics though and biological information. It's based on differences in language and culture that aren't fully understood or translated to these European people. But I mean, again, that's a subject of the time, and that will change as time goes on. So I don't know. I feel like we're kind of done with this article. It goes on for a while. But it basically boils down to this will probably not happen, but it should. And it's like, well, yeah, but it'll take time. So just wait, you very politically driven IFL science writer.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in the website. Actually, I've never seen. And I know it's different from writer to writer, but I've never seen IFL science.
Yeah, well, I mean they're blogs, dude. So it doesn't. I mean, I that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just, I wish it,
I don't care. I'm very used to that. All right, so let's go to something that Dylan. Let's go to something that has to deliver on scientific nature. Asshole businessmen are selling plastic rice in Nigeria.
All right, cool.
Hang on. Where's the full thing? I can't find the full article. Is that it? That's the whole thing? Okay, cool. It's short. Nigerian customs officials have confiscated 102 bags of fake rice that appears to contain plastic pellets, which crooked businessmen had been trying to bring into the country and sell over the Christmas period. With inflation having risen every month for more than a year, a bag of rice in the West African country currently costs double what it did last December, leaving many people struggling to afford staple foodstuffs. Sadly, scummy opportunists have seen this as a chance to make a quick buck by undercutting market prices with substandard and potentially dangerous products. I can't stop laughing. Lagos
It's also technically a bit politically motivated, but it makes more sense.
If this is true, then oh my god, it makes a lot of sense. Lagos Customs Chief Haruna Mamudu, that's a great name, told news outlets that officers confiscated a total of 2.55 tons, that's 2.81 tons, of what was branded as best tomato rice. Officials became alarmed by the rice's consistency after boiling it and have now sent it to a laboratory for a thorough analysis. The Guardian quotes Mamudu as saying, "We have done a preliminary analysis of the plastic rice after boiling it. It is sticky, and only God knows what would have happened if people consumed it. While it is not known where the fake rice came from, some are beginning to point the finger at China, where similar products have been found recently." China. So what do you think, D? The Chinese are trying to kill the Nigerians with plastic rice.
I mean, that's fucked up. I guess if there's rice...
I think that there's better ways to try and kill the Nigerians, but if that's the way you gotta do it.
Yeah, that's like trying to sell fake whale blubber to, like, an Eskimo. Like, that's just mean. Yeah.
More so to the Icelanders. They're more about that.
But yeah, that's... my only question is, how is this science?
Well, there was science involved. They had to go to a laboratory. Isn't that enough for you?
They boiled some rice.
No. They boiled the rice, then they sent it to the laboratory to have the analysis performed, where they were like, "Yup, it's plastic."
I guess.
I love it.
I'm not against. It's not like the last article where I'm against the message of it. It's just I don't know why it's on this website.
Fair enough. You're just a hate tank, I think.
Yeah.
So I've got this one's a video. A diver in Thailand captured the bizarre swimming motions of a feather star. Do you know what a feather star is?
No.
All right, well, let's see it together. Here you go. This you know what? Oh, I've sent it to you on Facebook, don't I?
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah. Do you know what a feather star is, Bill?
No idea. Let's try and figure it out together.
Me either.
Can you look it up? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, let me Google search feather star real quick before we watch this video, just so we get
I'm watching it right now. It's no. Watch the video, quick. I want your raw reaction. So it's like it looks kind of like a lionfish, like it's that color and it's got a similar shape, but it's a bunch of, it looks like independently moving kind of jellyfish-esque pulsating like feathers almost.
So I think it's a type of starfish, but like the tendrils are very feathery looking.
But it's one creature that's using that to move. It kind of looks like a big jellyfish.
Yeah.
It's called the sea lily as well.
Never knew this thing existed. I spent some time as a science student, but I was less interested in taxonomy than like the process of evolution itself. But this.
What does a thing like that eat?
Probably a filter feeder, I would imagine. But
it'd have to be, wouldn't it?
Maybe Wikipedia, the most reliable source of information on the internet, will tell me.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it has a mouth.
Crinoids are characterized by a mouth on the top surface that is surrounded by feeding arms. So it's got like little arms that just reach out and grab.
Oh, so it's like a squid. It looks kind of like a squid actually then. Or it's got kind of a similar function.
Yeah, like shovel shit into its arm, into its mouth.
Mm.
They have a U-shaped gut, and their anus is located next to the mouth.
Well, I mean, that's where it should be.
Although the basic echinoderm...
That would make anal and oral so much easier.
Most crinoids have many more than 5 arms. Crinoids usually have a stem used to attach themselves to a substrate, but many live attached only as juveniles and become free-swimming as adults.
So like the mother hangs out with them for a while until they're old enough to take care of themselves, so they take care of the young?
No, they attach themselves to a surface when they're young, and then once they become adults, they detach and swim around.
So they just pick up random shit that floats by?
Yeah. Technically, they are filter feeding at that point, and then later on, they actually swim around and get shit.
Well, not really. They're kind of filter feeding. They're more just kind of like scavenging, just picking up whatever they can get.
There are only 600 extant crinoid species. but they were much more abundant and diverse in the past.
Oh, so they're prehistoric.
Yes, some thick limestone beds dating to the mid to late Paleozoic are almost entirely made up of disarticulated crinoid fragments.
Huh. Well, that's right up our alley then, isn't it?
A lot of these more primitive sea creatures date back then, you know.
They're fascinating, man. They're the real winners, man. Fuck, like we're just a fucking, we're a mess. Like we're just a fucking random cosmic mistake. But stuff like this is the stuff that really got it right.
When you live down in the ocean like this, you don't tend to experience a whole lot of ecosystem changes, and therefore you don't really
I disagree. I think you experience a lot of change.
But they don't really have the need to change that much. Basically, they're so well adapted.
They exactly because they fight and they find the right environment. That's the key.
They've filled their niche to the point.
I say that like they actively decided. Sharks too. Sharks are fucking crazy good at that.
That's why sharks haven't changed very much at all in so long. They basically just got smaller.
Exactly. Tell you what. Why don't we move on to
and their mouths got more traditional looking because they're those crazy like prehistoric sharks with like the fucked up mouths and shit.
We have to talk about this before we talk about the shark article. All right.
The shark article.
I do. I want to talk about this one first, though. People who almost killed themselves trying to kill spiders.
I feel like this is how you'll go, Bill.
Definitely. I've done it recently. I tried to kill a spider today, and I almost cracked my roof. Not my roof, my ceiling.
See, I feel like I'm going to be at your funeral someday, and it's not going to be some like sad story about how you had cancer. It's not going to be.
It's going to be my mother laughing as she's like, he fucking fell out of a window when he tried to like fucking pile drive his body into a spider.
It's not going to be like a touching story about how you like grew old and died peacefully. It's like, nah, he was trying to reach out and swat a spider, and he fell off the toilet and cracked his head on the sink.
Oh my God, that's. See, would you laugh or would you be like, that sucks? Like, I wish you would have gone out better.
Like, I'd be really sad. But after a while, it would sink in how funny it was.
I would hope. Eventually, would you continue the podcast? I hope you would tell the story on the podcast so everybody would know.
Probably have to get another Yankee friend, but there would be a period there where I would just be inconsolable.
Oh, well, that's touching. Thanks, D. But
like,
seriously.
Like at least 5 minutes.
Good. It's good enough. I hope it's even shorter than that. All right, so let's see how I'm going to die. Let's see some potential. So number 1, woman rolls her car when a spider drops in on her. On September 21st, 2016, a woman in Portland, Oregon, rolled her car off the road when a spider dropped from the rearview mirror, scaring the living shit out of her. The unnamed motorist lost control of her sedan, flipped the vehicle into a roadside ditch. Though the car was totaled, the driver escaped with a relatively harmless scratch on her hand. Police searched for the spider, but were unable to find it. It's unclear whether it was injured.
See, this makes sense to me because I don't even have like I don't share your arachnophobia, but like if I see one like on me that I didn't know was there, I do freak out a little bit. I think it's only natural.
They can just bite you. See, one bit me in my sleep last week, and I was like, "Fucking piece of shit." Because I hate it when they get me like that because I know that they got me, but I wasn't aware of it. So it's kind of better, because if I was aware of it, I would have shit myself. But because I was unaware of it, it almost felt like a dig, like, we're coming for you, motherfucker. It's almost like a gang sign.
It's only if I find one already on me, though. Like, if I just see one in a room, like, in the corner, or, like, coming down from the ceiling or something, I don't freak out that much, because at that point it's like I'm gonna kill that motherfucker, and it almost becomes a challenge. Like if I look down and there's one that's already on me and it's like crawling on my hand, it's like, fuck, get off me, like fucking.
What if you're in a car? What if a spider dropped in while we were driving to G-Fest?
I totally understand how she would have had that normal muscle reaction and driven the car off the road. I totally get this one. Not even joking.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you're being so serious and earnest about all this, because I think it's fucking hilarious. And I'm the one with the actual arachnophobia. Only because, like, it went so bad. Like, just because this one spider dropped in, but that's how bad it can be. You're right. I mean, I've been there. It's fucking, it's paralyzing, because you're just like, ah. And it's not even because you actually think anything's going to happen. It's because you extrapolate the feeling, and the feeling just kills you. Anyway, so number 2, man sets...
Whenever I'm dealing with any kind of pest, there's an element of like, how dare you?
That's how I feel, but that How Dare You comes in of like, now I have to deal with your horrible, hideous presence.
This is why I don't spare mice that come into the house or anything like that.
Mice don't skeeve me out at all. At all.
I'm not skeeved out by them. I'm pissed off that they have the gall.
I don't even care, because they're cute. I don't give a fuck. Spiders, though? Fuck off. Man sets fire to gas station in Detroit. Recently, a man in Detroit tried to kill a spider while... Yeah, well, it makes sense. While gassing up.
He was doing the gas station a favor, putting it out of its misery.
And the people in it. His weapon of choice? A lighter. Apparently, he forgot about that whole no smoking rule at gas stations and the pump burst into flames. The man apologized, but it's still a pretty dumb decision. He apologized, say he survived at least, and apparently there was somebody to apologize to, so damn it, Dylan, some Detroit people were still alive.
Like, gas stations in Detroit just have it rough because, A, they're in Detroit, you know. B, they already got to worry about RoboCop and his brand of justice, but now this guy's out here just setting them on fire.
Yeah, that's certainly a worry. Man, there's a lot of these. I don't think we're going to look at all of them because we've still got a lot of articles to get through.
We killed way more time than I thought we would on the 6th one, so just do whatever's thing.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see where we are. Oh, man, we're almost an hour in already. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a couple of the big ones. We'll do that shark one because I promised it, and then we'll do a couple more. Welsh woman sets fire to her cottage with homemade flamethrower. Oh, God, what was that about?
Well, first of all,
she doused the spider in aerosol and then lit it on fire. If that sounds nuts, it's because, it's totally effing crazy. The fire quickly spread, turning the spider fire into a full-on house fire. Essex man blows...
I guess she had seen the movie Tarantula and thought that was the only way he would die.
Essex man blows himself up trying to kill spider. A British man won a Darwin Award in 2010, which of course is the I did a dumb thing that led to my death award, when he tried to kill a house spider by spraying it with a flammable aerosol can and then sparked a lighter to see if it was dead. The spark caused an explosion so powerful that it blew the man off his feet and caused several flash burns to his head and hands. There's no word on if the spider escaped the scene unharmed.
Why did these people think that they need to go the ballistic route or the
because they don't want to touch it. They want to blow it up or they want to burn it. They want it to die without their involvement. They want it to be impartial.
Like Bill, you've got arachnophobia, right? You
Burning.
Like
I got a boot, man. That's all I do. I pick up my boot and I stomp them.
Yeah, like you're not gonna see a spider in your house and like, well, better go get the dynamite. Like what?
No, well, no. I mean, if I had dynamite, maybe, but since I don't have dynamite, I just stick with my boot. But if I had dynamite, I don't know. Maybe I would resort to that.
I guess we'd better make sure that you never get your hands on any dynamite.
Definitely don't get me dynamite for Christmas or my birthday.
There goes my Christmas plans for 2017.
Fuck. See, these are all starting to have a similar theme. I'm just seeing if there's any different ones.
Man douses himself in gasoline when spider crawls onto his head.
They're all burning down houses and bad driving.
I want to hear a story about a guy who tried to take out a spider with a shotgun and wound up taking off his foot.
A YouTuber from Spokane, Washington decided he was going to kill the biggest spider he'd ever seen that was hanging out in his bathroom with a pair of brass knuckles. It goes about as well as you could expect. Do you want to watch the video and do a commentary?
And you know he was doing it for like the views. You know, he like started it out like, I'm going to kill this spider with these brass knuckles, and then fucking it went poorly on video.
Yeah, here, I'm going to give you the link. For the next couple articles I have, we're probably just going to read the headlines, talk, and that'll be it. Because it's all shit that we pretty much know already. But watch this video and let me know when you have it, and we'll watch the whole thing. I'm going to put it mad.
Like, why does everybody think they need to bomb the fucking Gaza Strip just to get rid of a spider? I don't understand
Because people panic. I've used aerosol to kill bugs, especially bees, because bees you don't want to touch. So I've
but you don't light it.
No, of course not. What's the point? The fire is just going to piss it off. The fire is not going to kill it. That's the thing. It's going to take so long to burn that it's going to die of suffocation before it's going to die of burning. So you might as well just spray it with the aerosol can.
You know what I fucking hate is wasps.
Yeah,
wasps
of course.
can go.
Oh,
'Cause a bee-
fucking horrible.
Because usually if you leave a bee alone, the bee will leave you alone. But a wasp will actually come at you because they're assholes.
When they're in your house, though, fuck that. They deserve to die.
Like I once killed a wasp like so bad. What I basically did was slammed it down on the table with a broom, and I kept hitting it until it stopped moving. And then just to make sure it was dead, because you know those wasps, they can be tough to kill
They
sometimes.
can just jump up at a certain point, yeah.
They're hardy motherfuckers. So to make sure it was dead, I cut off its head.
Sometimes that's not enough, D. You got this video queued up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find a point to skip to. Where's the spider itself? Oh boy. I don't even know if I want to see this. Oh, there it is. All right. Skip to 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Good. I don't
It's
have to
not
watch
even
this.
that big of a spider. Oh, shit. He broke his wall. I love when he turns the camera to himself and he's like, I knew this was going to happen. But you know what?
It's a spider. It's kind of a creepy looking spider because it's like really spindly, but it's not that big.
See, yeah. Oh, he goes for his mom at the end. He's like, Mom! Mom! Oh my god, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Because I love how he was like, oh, I'm going to be a badass. I'm going to kill the spider with my brass knuckles. He just fucking obliterates the wall.
You ever heard of a shoe?
Yeah, like that's the beauty of a shoe. The sole is not going to crack the fucking wall unless you really use it really hard. But you got fucking brass knuckles and you punch it. Yeah. That might not even work to kill the spider because the spider's so like thin, it might just like go through the cracks that you make in the wall.
How do you think this guy would react if he was in like fucking South America and ran into one of those spiders that eat birds? Like,
he would not fare well because that spider would be too big. Like there are puppy-sized spiders in the African jungle and shit.
Yeah, well, you know, a beautiful bunch of how does that song go?
I don't know, man.
I fucked up. Oh, a beautiful bunch of ripe banana hide the deadly black tarantula.
Right.
So-
where are we jumping to now?
That's the thing you gotta look out for.
We got some similar themes here. Okay. I promised the shark one. We'll do the shark one now. I think this is just a video.
Well,
Yeah.
were we gonna cover the dead whale?
We'll get there. I think that's our penultimate. We'll do that last. I've got some stuff I want to do before that. Caught on camera for the first time. Meet the pointy-nosed blue chimera, or deep-sea ghost shark. The video was captured at a depth of 5,400 feet off the coast of the Monterey, California. There are approximately 1,200 species of sharks, about 20% of them discovered recently. So this is a deep-sea shark. Here, I'm going to send you the video so you can see this thing. It's in line with your kind of deep-sea sharks that we've become familiar with in recent years. You got the video?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. I'm gonna watch it. It's white and it's got a black eye. You know what? Do you know what it looks like? A sturgeon.
Sturgeon. It does look like a sturgeon.
It looks like a filter feeding shark, or a bottom feeder, maybe. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, definitely a bottom feeder of some kind. Maybe not. Could be wrong. Could be a predatory shark. It's pretty big.
Could be what do you call those? Like when a fish attaches themselves to a bigger fish.
No, because sharks don't do that.
Do they not?
No,
No, you're right. Sharks have that done to them.
exactly. All right, so let's do the coolest new animal species discovered in 2016. Then we'll do the whale.
Sharks are interesting though. Like, did you notice the texture on it?
Yeah, it's perfectly white. It looks like the alien Ripley hybrid from the end of Alien Resurrection.
But better than that.
Yeah, it looks more realistic, I guess you could say. But this is a new species. I mean, that's awesome. Like, dude, they discovered a new species of shark. Like, that's so cool. Like, this is the real life, like, Loch Ness Monster and shit. Is finding stuff like this. Like, finding these deep sea, like, crazy fish and everything, you know?
Yeah. And, who cares if half the time they turn out to be sturgeons?
Yeah. Like, this is kind of just a sturgeon. But you know what? It's still pretty fucking cool in my estimation. So, D, let's find out the coolest new animals discovered in 2016, which this would probably count as. I think this is 2016. I don't know if it was 2017. First things first, we have the Ziggy Stardust snake. The new species of snake was discovered among the cliffs of northern Laos in Southeast Asia in homage to the late David Bowie, who passed away in 2016. This glam rock oddity with psychedelic scales has been named Ziggy Stardust. Yeah, it's got kind of like reflective scales that are kind of like rainbow. But otherwise, it looks pretty brown. Oh, this one is truly terrible. The Harry Potter sorting hat spider. Did you hear about this fucking monstrosity?
I did hear something about it. I haven't seen it, though.
All right, I'm going to send you a link to this too?
Sure.
Okay. Damn it. I left my saved links page. I need that.
Damn it, Bill. There's a new Mario game coming out, and you know what it's called?
What?
Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, man. We have to sue them.
My subtitle, anyway.
They took it from us, even though we took it from a million other things. What were we saying? So coolest new animals discovered. Did you get that link?
I did.
Okay. So Harry Pot. He's a good friend of mine. Harry Potter sorting hat spider. Among the many fantastic beasts discovered this year. One I didn't even see that movie. One 7mm long spider named Eriovixia gryffindori captured more hearts and imaginations than any. We get it. Indian scientists discovered a spider with an uncanny resemblance to the sorting hat used to sift wizardy students into their schoolhouses in the Harry Potter universe. Even Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling was impressed. Read more about the creature in the Indian Journal of Arachnology. This thing looks horrible. It looks terrible. It's designed to camouflage him with like a leaf, but it's an effective killing machine. Again, you see evolution at its finest here.
Yes. Beautiful.
Next page.
It's probably going to be a different animal on the next page.
Just give me the full article. You cunt.
To the next page, it talks about a different animal, because this is a list of animals.
Yeah. In theory. The spaceship jellyfish. It looks like an extraterrestrial Ferris wheel, but this alien-like Hydromedusa lives nearly as far from outer space as you can on Earth. It was found at a depth of around 3,700 meters, 12,100 feet in the Mariana Trench, an underwater region that contains the deepest known part of the sea.
Fuck this beautiful and fascinating creature. Read the next one.
4-penis millipede. Oh yeah, I'm glad you directed my attention to this. 2016 was also the year that IFL Science found its own spirit animal. Elachme tobini, a millipede with 414 legs, no eyes, 200 poison glands, and 4 penises, as described in the journal Zookeys. Yep, this sounds like every man, including me.
Winning?
Pretty much winning. Leaf spider. Oh my god, these things don't fucking stop, do they? And this one looks even more... Look at how mean this thing looks. Oh my god.
The tragedy is, though, that it doesn't have any eyes. Like, what's the point of having 4 penises if you can't see the millipede?
As long as you're coming, who cares if you can't see? Camouflage is a tried and tested method of survival found throughout the animal kingdom. But this newly discovered spider and leaf look-alike is a particularly awesome demonstration of it. Described in the Journal of Arachnology, the researchers explain how sneaky the arachnid evolved to appear like a bunch of dead and alive leaves. God, these things are just horrible monsters, just desperately trying to kill people, aren't they?
I like to think that the reason we never discovered the species before is that we always looked at them and just thought they were leaves.
I guess so. And we were just like, yep, we're moving on. And then those people died because they got killed by the spiders because they're psychos. Nah, they probably couldn't kill you.
Whenever we discover a new species and it's just like some ape we never saw before, like it really, like I'm like, how did we miss that? But whenever it's something like this, I'm like, okay, I get it.
This is a little different though. This is another spider that this will kill you. A new species of fish-eating spider. Nobody is safe from spiders. I'm fucking telling you, man, it's true. Not even fish. In freshwater streams of Queensland, Australia, scientists discovered a new species of fish-eating spider that can kill prey up to 5 times its own body size via a bunch of powerful poisons. And it's a big fucking spider, too.
Yeah, look at that shit.
That's horrible.
At least it looks like a spider.
This is why I have my fucking phobia.
Aren't you glad that the spider looks like a spider, so at least it's honest? It's not camouflaging itself.
Absolutely.
Like a fucking
It's very obvious about it. I appreciate that.
Do you understand now why your precious ostriches lost the war?
Because of the leaf spiders, that I understand. I didn't know about them at that time, but though they were undiscovered, to be fair.
Yeah, we got spy spiders that like fucking hide. We got fucking parachuting spiders. We got spider. You got
the spider. You got the spider navy that eat fish.
Your ostriches lose the war purely on the grounds that they're outnumbered and their enemies are poisonous. Like,
I feel you. They tried though. They had a lot of heart. Teeny weeny doomed salamanders, Dylan. Scientists recently described 3 unbelievably tiny and cute species of salamander from the genus Thoreus, found in the mountainous forests of Oaxaca in Mexico. But don't fall in love with these tiny critters too soon. They're quickly heading towards extinction.
Oh, look how small they are compared to the peso. They're so fucked.
Man, if the pesos, if they're that much tinier than a fucking peso, they must be real shit. They must be in real trouble.
Who's this asshole on the peso?
I don't know. He looks like fucking Zorro.
Maybe Andres would know.
He probably does. All right, well, that's it for that list. Cool, wonderful, marvelous. D, we're going to go to our last story then.
Maybe his name was in life.
Indeed. We are going to go to the story of... there's actually 2 orca stories. All right, we'll do the important one. Maybe we'll do the other. Basically, the world's oldest known orca was found dead, or was feared dead. There was one they were tracking in the wild, and he was gigantic and old. And they thought that maybe he was dead because they couldn't track him again. But I just want to see if it turned out to be true. Let's see real quick. If it turned out that he was dead. And he wasn't seen since October. Oh, it was a she. Oh, she would have been born before the Titanic sailed. She would have been 76 years old. And this is in the wild, again. Important for the story we're going to talk about after this. We've now seen J2 thousands of times in the past 40 years. In recent years, she has been in the lead of J-Pod virtually every time that she has been seen by anyone. A full article. I want to know what happened to this bitch. Come on, load. I don't have time for this. I have to talk about other dead whales.
She choked on another whale's dick.
Well, I don't think she's dead. Damn it, this is not loading. It's frozen. Alright, hang on. We got it. My computer finally decided to stop being a spaz. Come on! I'm getting so angry. Oh, I guess she is dead.
Yeah, wasn't that the title of the article? The world's
It said
oldest
fear
known...
dead.
Well, I guess those fears were realized, weren't they?
It doesn't mention...
In all fairness, I didn't know this whale. Maybe she deserved to die.
Maybe. Is missing in action, presumed dead. So it's been they didn't see it since October, and since they haven't seen it, they're pretty sure it was dead. But that's pretty crazy though, dude. It's a whale that they've known has been around since before the Titanic sailed, and now it's dead. That's pretty nuts,
This
right?
this whale was in the wild, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy lifespan, right?
It's weird to me though that you can take a whale that's in the wild and be like, I don't know, we haven't seen them in a while. We think they're dead. It's like they're in the ocean. Like you might not see them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that this article might be hyperbolic. This whale, though, definitely dead. Tilikum.
It's kind of like when you haven't seen a celebrity do anything in a while and you just assume they're dead, you know?
Well, speaking of a celebrity that hasn't done anything in a while, an old school DFOS celebrity, Tilikum, the orca from the documentary Blackfish, has died.
Good.
Do you remember Tilikum?
I do. This is the end of his reign of terror.
Do you remind the audience who Tilikum is?
Tilikum is the whale / serial killer who lived at SeaWorld and was the subject of the documentary Blackfish. His body count includes a homeless man who was found naked and other humans. I don't remember. I haven't watched that documentary since we did that episode, but yeah.
He died early this morning. When was this? This was on exactly. I'm trying to figure out the exact day that he died. God damn it! Put your fucking dates on the fucking articles.
Do you remember what the story?
It says 6/1/2017, which has not happened yet. So I assume he means
2016.
I don't know what he means. No, this didn't happen that far back.
No, it was in
January 6th, let's say. Oh, December?
Or maybe it was January. I don't know.
It happened recently. Apparently he was seriously ill with a persistent bacterial lung infection since March 2016. SeaWorld were quick to highlight the suspected bacteria can be found in water of both wild and captive habitats. So they were quick to be like, it's both, it's not just us.
Fuck you, we didn't do it.
Tilikum was born sometime around 1981 and captured 2 years later in Hafnarfjörður, Iceland. After spending some time in an aquarium in Canada, he was sold to SeaWorld in 1991. During his time there, he was the father to 21 calves. Oh my god. Now that is a guy that is a guy whose kids are going to be sleeping on some couches.
Oh god. They let him reproduce. Now his bad seed is out there.
This is after they knew he killed people too.
Do you remember what the story was of how that homeless guy wound up naked on him?
The whale flayed him with his teeth.
Because I remember when I was watching the documentary, that was the one that got to me the most. Because at that point I was like, why is he naked? It was like a mystery. It sounded like
he probably got naked when he got in the pool.
It sounded like the beginning of one of those best-selling New York Times best-selling mystery novels, you know.
I think he got naked when he got in the pool.
How the fuck did this happen? Yeah, probably, I guess.
Because he was probably a crazy dude whacked out on drugs who wanted to fuck a whale, got in the water, and the thing fucking killed him.
Where's your blowhole? And then he died.
Do you want to hear the, He died at approximately age 36. Male orcas typically live for around 30 years in the wild, but can live as long as 60 years.
By the way, public service announcement, don't fuck whales in the blowhole. I think they breathe through those.
They breathe through those?
Breathe. I said breathe.
Right,
I think they breathe through those.
So you want to hear the official statement from the CEO of SeaWorld, Joel Manby?
I guess.
Tilikum had and will continue to have a special place in the hearts of the SeaWorld family, as well as the millions of people all over the world that he inspired. My heart goes out to our team who cared for him like family. Good for you, buddy. I guess that's that's the only way you can react to the CEO of SeaWorld, who's just like, well, one of my property died. Sucks to be me. He kind of fucked me in a way because now everybody hates my corporation because of him.
I don't buy this. I don't buy this. He was an inspiration to so many. Because, like, nobody would have even known his name if it hadn't been for that documentary. Like, I had never heard of fucking Tilly. Like, Shamu is what I would tell you, you know? But Tillicum was like Shamu if Shamu killed people.
Well, the idea is, Tillicum is the big part of the Shamu show. He was the one who would come out at the end and splash everybody.
Yeah, what I'm saying is if it hadn't been for Blackfish, nobody would have known that.
No, I didn't know who he was until then. But he was in the news, though. He was the whale that, you know...
guy.
Yeah, he was the whale that killed all those people that ended up on fucking Good Morning America. So, he was definitely in the public consciousness before that.
I don't even know how I would announce that if I was like a news anchor. Like, you remember the movie Orca? Well, that happened.
Tillicum has a fascinating story, and D, I do think that his story has inspired people to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So I think that it's for the best that we know his sad story, but it is sad, but it's one that emotionally resonated with people, and I think that's always important. But speaking of emotionally resonating,
I say I just want my Potbelly Orca.
Well, D, I think the only way we get that is if we get some sleep and figure out how to do it. So why don't we wrap this up? That was pretty fun. I had a good time. We didn't get through as many science articles as I would have liked to, but we had a lot to say about porn, and we had a lot to say about all of them. They all turned out to be like lists and stuff, so it turned out to be a lot longer than we anticipated.
We got the feeling of calming in the podcast. We got the feeling of calming at the gym.
Always do, man. Always do. So what are we doing next week, D?
Next week. Oh, yes. Next week on the Demons from Outer Space, we will be talking about the 2003 Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars Micro series. And whether or not we prefer that to the CGI shit that came out later.
Which I've seen like none of. So it'll be a very fair comparison on my side of things. We were supposed to do that this week, but I told D, I was like, I've got so much science stuff. Please just let me get some of it done.
Yeah, well, that was good because I didn't have to like rush to rewatch the Genndy Tartakovsky thing. Now I've got another week to do so. So procrastination for the win.
Exactly. So we'll do that next week. So we hope you'll join us then. As always, you can like the Sons of Serizawa Network homepage on Facebook to get all of our stuff as it comes up. You can also like the Godzilla Odyssey page on Facebook to get all of our Godzilla Odyssey retrospectives early when we talk about all of the different issues we were going to do for that Godzilla Interdimensional Crossover series. We just put up a new one of those. It's going to go up the same weekend as this podcast. That one is on a crossover between Godzilla and the DC universe where he fights the Justice League and attacks cities like Atlantis and Gotham City. So it's pretty wild, kids. Give it a listen and like those pages to get all of that. Also, if you don't mind, I've been trying something a little new. I made the first part of a audio drama that I'm going to be working on in the upcoming future. Called Lost Genesis. It's a science fiction time travel kind of audio series. So be sure to give that a listen and give me your thoughts. It's pretty short, so it's not a big time commitment, but again, it is the first part of a hopefully one day longer thing. So I'm definitely looking for feedback before I continue. So be sure to give me some feedback and give that a listen if you'd be so kind. That's on my channel. But anyway, and we're going to be doing some more of those audio dramas in the future as well. D's got one that he's going to be doing in the pipeline.
Indeed.
But so go ahead.
No.
All right, we'll save it then.
I was going to say something and then I lost it, and now I can't remember what it was. So I'm just like,
Let's go to bed.
So probably best to move on, yeah.
Until next time, everyone, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazabar.
I'm SuperDM64.
And you see nothing, because it's a podcast, Conan Hogan. And them Germans, they be fucked up.